Tonight on SUTV World News, the Pope returns home after a historic trip to Iraq, and dozens have been killed in the Myanmar since the military took over the government. That and more on our coverage begins right now on SUTV World News. Good evening and welcome to SUTV World News. I'm Adam Beam. We begin tonight in Myanmar, where at least 67 people have been killed since the military took over the government in February. Anti-coup protesters have been met with the military since they took over the government in February. The United Nations Secretary General reports that more than hundreds have been injured. However, they are in contact about a possible visit to the country to try and resolve the coup. The UN says it is calling for the military in Myanmar to stop using force against peaceful protesters. Pope Francis has returned to Rome after his historic trip to Iraq. CNN's Delia Gallagher reports.
Returning from Iraq on Monday, Pope Francis told journalists on the papal plane that the trip had tired him out more than any of the others. But after all, he joked, he is 84 years old. He said he thought and prayed a lot before going, particularly that his events might aggravate the situation of COVID for the Iraqi people. But ultimately, he decided that if God wanted him to go, then God would look after the people. He called his meeting with the Grand Ayatollah al-Sistani good for his soul. He was asked if the meeting might lead to some kind of joint declaration, such as he has signed with the leader of Sunni Muslims, and he said it was a first step. Pope called al-Sistani a great, wise man of God and said he was particularly impressed by the fact that he had been told that al-Sistani never stands to greet guests, but for the Pope, he stood up twice. And Pope Francis said that his next trip to the Middle East will be to Lebanon, although there are no firm details just yet for that trip. Delia Gallagher, CNN, Rome.
A vaccine watchdog group says wealthy nations are outpacing poorer ones in administering COVID-19 vaccines by a lot. In fact, the People's Vaccine Alliance says rich nations vaccinated 1 person per second over the last month. Meanwhile, the majority of the poorest nations have not given a single dose yet. The group is calling for a global suspension of patents to speed up the production of COVID-19 vaccines everywhere. A World Trade Organization committee meets Wednesday to discuss a waiver. The alliance says the waiver would remove legal barriers and let manufacturers across the world start producing vaccines at scale within months. Renowned Mexican comedian Ricardo Gonzalez, best known for his clown persona Cepion, has died at the age of 75. His son, Ricardo Gonzalez Jr., confirmed the news to a Mexican journalist. The popular comedian had been hospitalized. Gonzalez Jr., who did not offer details on the cause of death, said his father was a strong person and a warrior. He added that he was the best father and gave him all the love in the world. Cepion was a popular character in Mexican television. His legacy in his 50-year career in the entertainment industry leaves behind many children's music albums and TV shows. A store in Germany is offering singles a fresh new way to shop for love. The first Fridays of every month is Single Shopping Day, and the supermarket is serving up new options to connect amid COVID-19. Customers who are interested can grab a numbered red heart balloon as they enter the shop. If there is a match, customers simply leave their contact details with the supermarket, who help make the connection. The idea came from the owner of the supermarket and his wife, Sven and Sarah Steigler, who announced the single shopping campaign via social media. That's it for this week's World News. I'm Adam Beam. Be sure to follow us on all our social media at SUTV News and check out our website at sutvnews.org. We're back with ship news and more tomorrow, but until then, good night.